Yay, we are live. Okay, hi everyone. I'm just gonna wait just a couple of seconds here for some more people to arrive. This is amazing. 9 p.m. in Sweden. Yeah, it's getting late. Amazing. Hello, Amy. Okay, I'm gonna just get started, and I think people will trickle in, and of course lots of you will be watching it on the replay as well, so I don't really want to waste too much time. Hello, I'm super excited to be with you again today. I'm not sure if you were able to catch me yesterday. My name is Chris Karpiak. My name is Christine Karpiak, but a lot of people call me Chris. My very dearest and oldest friends call me Chris, but really it doesn't matter to me if you call me Christine or Chris. It's just fine. I'm here in Canada, so for me it's the afternoon, and today we're just going to be doing some kind of simple art journaling, but we're gonna go kind of deep within ourselves. We're gonna actually do some thinking, and we are actually going to be doing some art journaling. Sorry, I'm just getting distracted by the chat. Yeah, hiya. Okay, awesome. I hope that you are enjoying your weekend. I hope it's just been amazing for you, and you've been just ignited and just inspired, and I hope you've actually done some creating. That would be amazing if you have. You can totally play along with me here today. This one is slow enough that you can do this with me in real time. And like I say, at the end, we are going to do some art journaling, so that is for sure you can do that with me, and I will be taking the time to do that as well. You've probably heard by now the excitement that we've opened another 1,000 spots for the early bird registration. That's just awesome and amazing. I'm so happy that more people can join in at that price. And I'm not sure if the link is in my class in the notes there somewhere, but if it is and you haven't joined and you're on the fence and you're just wondering, I can tell you from my own experience, it has been life-changing for me, just taking the year of Wanderlust. Like, it is a year. Every week you get a class. You get just catapulted into this creative world, and you live and breathe it. Like, you can't stop, it's just that much. And of course you grow not only as an artist but also as a person, for sure. So I can highly recommend it from my own being, my own soul, and just my own experience. So with that, I'm going to turn the camera around. It's not very fancy technology today, guys. I'm just on my phone. From Chicago, UK. I love to read the chat because I really want to connect with you. It's really, really important to me. But because I'm just on my phone this time and not on my cameras, I'm not going to be able to read the chat, but I'll be able to read it in the replay. If you have any, direct questions you want to ask me, then you can for sure send me an Instagram message or a Facebook Messenger message, or however you like to do that, and I will for sure get back to you just as soon as I can. So, okay, let's get started. Here I go, turning the camera around. So guys, I'm gonna, I just apologize here for, this camera has to go vertical, and I'm not happy about it, but YouTube is just making me do that. I can't get the horizontal going, as I discovered that yesterday. So I'm sorry, this is just what we're gonna have to do, but that's okay. You can still see what I'm doing here. Okay, the volume is too low, says Lila. Okay. Oh, thank you, Joan. What a kind thing to say. Okay. Oh, from New Zealand. Fantastic. Hey, Julie. Yeah, Julie, right on. Thanks, Julie. Julie says vertical is perfect. Okay, I hope that's a little bit centered for you guys. I'm going to zoom in a bit there. Okay, let us get started. Guys, this journal page here, I'm moving my chair in. Sorry about the noise. This journal page today, guys, is I'm going to direct you a little bit. Like usually, you know, I want you to be very intuitive, and I do want you to be intuitive, but we're going to go through a few steps just because we're going to try and make an area here for us to journal on the inside. So that's what's going to be just a little bit prescriptive there, okay? If you don't like that idea, you know, go ahead and do your own idea. It's totally fine. I'm just giving you some inspiration, and you can do exactly what I do, or you can do your own thing. It's fine with me. But we're talking today about creating space for your inner light. Like, what does that even mean? Well, actually, we're going to physically make some space here in our journal so that we can journal about our inner light. And also, while we're creating, we are getting into our inner light, because this is a very, very personal form of self-expression, isn't it? Like, I mean, you have this safe place to fully express yourself, and nobody has to judge you, and you can completely be yourself, and you can completely pour your gifts and your souls and your feelings right into this page here, into all your pages. And so we are going to be talking later about, well, like, what do we journal about our inner light? And you know, it'll all come together. You'll see. But let's create some space first, and then, you know, we'll kind of be thinking about things along the way, and it'll just happen. Okay, we're gonna use some acrylic inks to start off with. I am choosing these two colors. I've got Yellow Ochre by Liquitex, and I think this is Marine Blue by De La Rowney FW. And it doesn't matter what colors you use, but the first, you know, layers are, we're gonna just go lightly. So I'm gonna add a little bit of water here first, and then I'm gonna just put a few drops. Now I'm using the light color first because I wanna have a light base, but that is up to you. I've just added some more water here just because I want it to have a dreamy, watery feel and effect. You know, if you don't have these acrylic inks, certainly you could use watercolors, or you could add a little bit of water to your acrylic paints. So that's just simple as that. The first layer, I'm gonna dry it a little bit, just a little bit, because I don't want it to be super wet, but I want it to be enough so that when we add the blue, it's gonna bleed into itself a little bit. So sorry about the noise here, guys. It's gonna have to happen. Okay, if you're doing this with me and yours isn't that dry, it's okay. Like, usually it's nicer when the colors bleed, but for me, because I'm using this dark color on top of a light one, I don't want it to bleed too much, because then I'm gonna make green, and that's okay with me, but I also want to have a little bit of blue. So if you're starting with light and then you're adding a dark, like I was saying, you know, imagine this circle or oval in your journal, whatever, you know, whatever page you're using. I would ideally love to have a square one so I can make a circle, but I don't. And in case you're wondering what I'm using today, it's just a Canson mixed media journal, you know, just a simple one there. It's probably like, I don't know what the centimeters would be, inches maybe, you know, I don't know, 5 by 7 or something like that. And I think yesterday we discovered it was probably a 5. Okay, so we're just making sure it's centered more or less for you guys. It's hard for me to tell on the screen if it's centered because there's all the chats going on. Okay, so the darker color, we want to keep the light in the middle. Want to keep the light in the middle, right? We're creating the light space. So I don't want to go crazy with this blue, and I'm just literally just dabbing a little bit there. And it's okay if some of it goes darker. You know, if it just gets too dark for you, well, then you can take a paper towel and mop it up. And if you get some blue in the middle, it's fine. Okay, it's just fine. Now, this circle doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that, not at all. And maybe add a little bit more yellow, just a couple of drops, just like that. And let it just sort of bleed into itself. It's fine. I'm gonna just dab all that water off my brush and just create like a softer circle there, a little bit. And you can also take your paper towel, right, and just dab it, daub it, whatever. So like I say, it is a little bit prescriptive, but how yours turns out, of course, is going to be different than everybody's, right? Yeah. Okay, I might add a little bit more blue here and there, maybe in a couple of corners. I love this blue, guys. It's like my favorite. I think it's besides quinacridone magenta, I think it's my favorite one here. Now, I'm just gonna let that do its thing. I might add some more, but what we can do here now is we can take our skewer and we can make little marks because it's still wet. So you can go through the middle, push it through, pull it through if you want. Just kind of playing around, really, like just getting the flow of things, and doesn't have to be perfect, of course. You know, we're just making some interest here. We're getting some marks for interest. That's all we're really doing. And of course, it's like so fun. And I love this. I hope you can see this. I just love how it makes the marks when it's wet. It's really fabulous to me. Really fabulous. And just feel like I want to get a little bit more blue here pulled through. And guys, you know, don't get too precious and too fussed about the outside, the inside. Like, if you just think you might want to add some more color, add some more color. If you want to add a lot of colors, add a lot of colors. I'm just adding the 2 for now because we are going to be making some extra colors in here. Now we can also take this Lyra pencil. This is a water-soluble pencil, and we can make some marks doing whatever we want here. Okay, we don't have to go crazy with it, but just again, just adding a little bit of something, and as it dries, it'll sort of bleed into itself. We can activate it just so that that circle isn't like super perfect. I don't know. Maybe you want it super perfect, and that's totally fine, but I just am perhaps a little bit too messy of an artist. I feel good when I make a mess. Do you feel like that too, when you just put something on there and it doesn't matter just because it feels so good, right? Oh yeah. Okay, I've got just a few pastels, so this is a good time for you to get some pastels. It can be wet, because if you take something like this one, this Neo Color one, it's water soluble, and I would recommend you getting water soluble ones for using this right now, because we want this to blend in and bleed in, and you know, maybe we make some marks. And it's really great here because it's, you know, it's wet already, so it feels really dreamy when you put your pastel onto something that's wet. Now if you wanted to take a lighter color like a pink, you could do some stuff in the middle here. Why not? Because we're gonna activate it, and I'm not thinking, guys, like, don't think too hard about it. We're just, you know, we're just creating some marks and some color here, and it's kind of just getting some interest on our page and getting into it, if that makes sense. Okay, like maybe you just want to go really crazy here with this. Maybe we want to add some green, you know, maybe we want to kind of do a little bit of that. Really, it's just, there's no rules. I'm gonna just say, work intuitively, and whatever pulls you, whatever direction you're pulled at. And if you're doing this with me live, you just know that you don't have a lot of time, right? You don't have a lot of time to think about what you're doing. So that actually can force you to just do stuff without thinking, and I kind of like that. So this is I think like a yellow ochre color here. Doesn't matter the colors. You can go really colorful on this. You can go more monochromatic on this. It's up to you. I'm going to take a smaller brush. I'm going to start activating some of these oil pastels. Like, this is always, I mean, I do this all the time, but I just never, the magic of it never, I don't know, loses its magic for me, I guess. Like, I'm always amazed at how oil pastels, when activated, will just blend and bleed and become watery and dreamy, and it's just amazing to me. It really is. You don't have to activate everything if you don't want to, and maybe if you activate it too much and you don't like it, you can always, you know, top it up like that, okay? So maybe this is a good time now to do a little bit of a dry, because we want to add a few more pastel colors, I think. And it's quite wet now, and certainly we could add some more. See what happens there. But you know, you get a different effect also when you're adding the pastels when it's a little drier. So I'll do another little dry. So when you feel like you're ready to do your dry, go ahead. I hope that you are not only enjoying this here, what we're doing together, but that you've just really made some space for yourself this weekend, because we really deserve that self-care, don't we? We really deserve that time. Like, how many times do we say to ourselves, well, I just don't have time, I have too many things to do, you know, it's the weekend, and you know what it's like, you have to do your laundry and, you know, all the things that maybe you don't get done in the week or whatever. But if you've made some time for yourself, like, kudos to you, because it is just the best gift that we can give ourselves. And you know, we need that, don't we? Like, we deserve this time, and we need it, and it's expansive to us, and you know, we're expressing ourselves here. And like I say, today, you know, we're talking about this inner light. And I think, like, when you art journal, you give yourself permission to express in any way you want. Throw that inner critic away, right? You know, sometimes it's easier said than done. But then you can be really your authentic self, and that's like shining your inner light. Really is living your authentic self. Okay. You know what, guys? I've got a white in here. We need some white going on here. Now, of course, I'm not exactly maybe following the instructions 100%. Like, you know, I didn't say add white or whatever, but I think this is part of the intuitive process. Again, is when you see something that needs to happen, just go ahead and do it. You know, even if it's in a different order than what I'm doing it in, that's just fine. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah. I think we'll come back to the white, because for sure, probably at the end, we'll want it. Now, I mean, this was fun for me. I hope that it is fun for you, just playing around. Like, that is not a stressful thing. It's just playing around and making marks. And now, come to your stash of your, you know, just your collage papers, just little pieces and stuff. And we're going to actually just create a little frame around here with our papers. And anything goes, like anything goes. Like, I have this little thing here, and Some of this I might cut up with my scissors. Some of it I might not. And then, you know, it's up to you, like how big you want your pieces to be. Maybe you just want them to be small. Maybe you want them to be all the same color. Again, depending on what palette you're working on. I don't think really like this isn't, oh, I just love that pink there. Oh, do you get excited like that too? Like I put things down and it's like, oh, I'm in love. And you know, I think this is too, like it's adding some color here, right? Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that. So this is, you know, this would just be such a great time for me to be able to chat, see the chat and see what you have to say. And I guess I could a little bit, but it means I have to stand up and then I'm not concentrating on what I'm doing here as well. So I'm not sure, maybe that's not a good idea. Not a good idea, but I do feel, you know, I really just want to be there in the chat with you. Okay, so here's my tip is, I think like you can tear out every single piece and put it on there first and then adhere it, or you can just adhere it as you go along, which is what I'm going to do now. Sorry about that. Oh, light's going off. Okay, I'm just using a Liquitex matte gel medium. That's my preferred way of doing it, but you just do whatever you want to adhere yours, because everyone has their own way, right? And again, this isn't like you're not thinking really too hard about this. You're just enjoying this moment and letting that creative spark just come out and, you know, enjoy that feeling of the paper in your hands and the colors and, you know, just really enjoy this. And I think too, like, enjoy knowing that you are with an amazing group here, like an amazing group of community, and we're all here together, you know, like this doesn't have to be an isolating thing. And I think community is just so huge in creating, well, it's huge in anything, but for sure in creating, because you know, we have that collective energy, don't we? We have that collective energy, and it is palpable, guys. Like it just, we feed off of one another. We learn from one another. We're inspired by one another, and we encourage one another. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Like, absolutely. This is a great way to, you know, use up your little collage bits. Like, you know, I'm sure that there are many of you who are like me, and so many of us like, oh, well, we just can't throw that away, can we? Like, well, you just never know when I need that. And this is a perfect project for something like that. Like, you really don't know when you need a little, you know, a little piece. Who knows? Like this. And this to me is looking very happy and not too serious. And you know, it depends on how you want yours to look. Well, and of course, we have this little thing called intuitive work, and that means it doesn't always turn out the way we have imagined it, right? So you never know really what it's going to turn out to be, hey? And maybe that's just part of the magic, and it's like part of trusting the process, for sure. Trust that process, and don't fret about it if, you know, the colors don't work out, or yours doesn't turn out the way you wanted it, or you like somebody else's and you just think yours doesn't match up. That's just, we do that to ourselves, but that is really not helpful. Like, I think this is a place, again, we're creating a space for our inner light. And so, okay, let your light shine. You have so much here to offer yourself and to offer others if that's important to you. And, you know, I think that just needs to be the focus there. Okay, my brush just broke. Let's get another one. Well, it's too bad. I really like that little brush, but maybe I can fix it later. And you know, what papers do you choose? Well, it's just whatever I think is bringing you joy at the moment. And I would say though, from an artistic standpoint here is, you can see this is like really, I got a lot of light colors in there. I want a bit of a contrast, so I'm going to add some darker colors, some darker papers, because I think it needs that. Now, of course, we can totally add, you know, some stuff later, like we will. Make sure it's balanced and everything. But for now, you know, it's just something to consider when you're making your little circle. And this is just a fun thing. Like, I can imagine, you know, sitting around with some friends and just doing this and having a good chat and a good cup of tea. So we are doing that. We're just doing it in our own homes today. But let's imagine us being all together. I think that's just such a great, you know, just a great visual there for us. Okay, how are we doing? How are you doing? I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're getting curious. I hope you're playing along. And if you're not playing along, that's totally fine. But if you're watching, when you watch the replay, if you watch the replay and you join in then I hope you're enjoying it then. Okay. So how do you know when to stop? Well, that's a good question, right? I think you just look around and think, you know, do I need any more elements here? Like, is it full enough? Do I have enough texture going on? Do I have enough interest going on? And I think that's just, you know, that's just how you know. Okay, let's maybe do just a little bit more. Like, it's pretty good here, I think. I've ended up doing a lot of little pieces, haven't I? You don't have to do all these little pieces. Like, yours could be bigger. Like, I actually imagined in my mind that I would have bigger pieces, but you know, this is how it goes when we create. We just have to go with how it's going, don't we? Yep, that's what we have to do. And that's okay. That is okay. Okay, the only thing, you know what though, guys, I do feel like I want a little bit more pink. So I'm gonna put a little bit more pink on there because I think it just is a nice contrast to what's happening there. So again, like when you're at the point of, you know, it's getting close to being done, look and see how the color palette pleases you. You know, do you need a contrast, or are you just happy with the way it is? You know, maybe you're working analogously, or maybe you do want that contrast in there. Okay, one more. Yeah, it's hard to stop. Oh, just such a fun little, it's so simple. You know, this is so simple, but I'm telling you, it is really fun. Okay. Now, if it's a bit wet, which probably, you know, it will be and stuff, let's give it a bit of a dry, okay? Let's just give it a bit of a dry, because we're going to be adding more pastels on there, and we're also going to be adding some metallics. Okay, so here, I'm going to just dry this. Now, to me, I look at this and I see it looks a bit childlike, but you know what? It looks playful and it looks happy. And I think the most important part is, for me, I really had fun doing this because I enjoy it, and I also am really happy imagining that, you know, you're here with me doing it, and we're here together creating something, and I love that very much. So hopefully if you're in Europe or, you know, South Africa or that part of the world, hopefully you're still awake and up. And if you're North America like me, then I hope you're having just an awesome, awesome day. Okay. Here it is, so much smoke from the forest fires, like maybe you've heard about them. If you don't live here, maybe you've heard about them. So we can't go outside, so this is a perfect day to do art. It's a little depressing, I have to say, not being able to go outside, but yeah. So now, this is again where we can bring in our pastels. Okay, we can also bring in some acrylic paint. I did write that in to the supply list, but that is up to you. We can add some little bits of acrylic paint here and there just for color if we want. Or of course we can, you know, we can just use pastels. Totally, totally, totally up to you. Okay, now let me get that green. And it doesn't matter, guys, which pastels you're using. A lot of these are Rembrandt. This is a Prima one. You know, I've got the Neo colors. It doesn't matter really. It's just as long as they are water soluble. Okay. And you know, I have to tell you, I'm kind of having a little bit of excitement because I just heard, I don't know anything about it really, but I just heard that there is a Sennelier shop. Like, I don't know how big it is. I'm imagining big, but maybe I'm wrong. And I don't know if it's the original one. It might be a Sennelier shop in Paris. And I am actually going to Paris for a couple of nights I'm going in November. And guys, I'm just saying, I may have to stop in, you know? Just might have to stop in. So when you're at this stage now, it's again working intuitively, like how much of a frame do you want to put on here? You know, you can kind of just watch me and just be inspired by what I'm doing, or you can just go off and do your own thing. I don't want to cover all of this up because it's just so fun, but I do want to enhance it some way. And it's okay if you color over top of your papers or maybe around. Like maybe you don't even like me coloring around the circle part here, but I do kind of like it. And I do want to try my Sennelier here because I'm just like, this color is really cool to me. Okay, and maybe you want to highlight some of these corners here. And this Sennelier one you can rub it really nice with your finger. I don't think it's a water soluble one, but that's okay. Oh, it's just that blue is gorgeous, right? So whatever you end up doing, however this page works out for you, keep the lightness on the inside. Keep the lightness on the inside because we're going to journal in there, right? You don't want your outside to be too dark, like mine is getting in a little bit dark. But I don't kind of mind that because it is a nice contrast to what else is going on here. So I've got these blue in these corners here, and I want to carry that blue through. Okay, I don't want to only have it there. I want to carry some of it through here, which is why I've kind of gone a little bit around the circle with it, just because you want your eye to travel and you want it to be balanced. And in art, you know, we have these repeating elements, and certainly color can be a repeating element. Now I do feel like I want to have a little bit more white here. This white can totally be activated, but I'm just rubbing it with my finger. I don't know. You'll notice here too, like I'm putting white around a dark. That really makes it pop, doesn't it? Like it really does. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. So just, you know, make some cool marks. Don't stress too much about it, because what we can do now, guys, is we can bring in a charcoal pencil here, okay? And I'm suggesting charcoal because this is just too wet, too many pastels for an archival pen. Like our pen is not gonna work on this part, but a charcoal should. Like it should be dry enough to do that. If not, we'll just dry it a little bit more. So I've got this little baby one. I'm just letting you know this is, you know, you can get Derwent ones. This one, I'm not sure what company this is. Charcoal, it says General S, but it doesn't matter, a charcoal pencil or a piece of charcoal. And you know, if you want to, maybe it's a little bit too wet for that still. Okay, what it is. And it's going into the pastels, etching itself in there. So that's kind of cool, right? So like maybe you want to get some black in there. A black pastel would be actually really probably a better idea here than what I've got going. But because I don't have one on my table right now, I'm just going to use, you know, what I have here. It's getting kind of scribbly, whatever, okay? Just want to do a little bit of that. Maybe this guy on its side can give us a little bit. Okay. So now, woohoo, we can add a few little things in terms of gold. However, I'm thinking that if we add the gold now and then we journal, our fingers, you know, it's just our hands are going to get mucked up, I think. So let's just leave the gold for the end. Let's just give it that pop. Okay, now journaling. You can use, again, this charcoal pencil. If this is super, super dry, and I mean super dry, you could use a pen. I'm not even going to chance it because I am, guys, like, I am the worst. I say it all the time, but I'm trying to be so careful, but I am impatient and I just ruin every single pen. So I'm not even going to do it. If you want to use a pen, let it dry for a few hours and then you can journal. I also have this really great find, and maybe you know about it. It's the Stadler Mars Lumograph in black, and it's an 8B, and it goes really nice and dark as well. So like you can always start off journaling with a black pencil crayon or something dark or a charcoal. Those are just my suggestions, but certainly use what you have and use what inspires you, okay? Now, so what do we journal? Like we don't even have that much space. Well, I've left you some ideas on the journaling part in the PDF there. So you can write about how living authentically you from your soul would make you shine your inner light. And what would you attract and receive more of if you were shining? You could write about how you would shine if you honored the gifts you have to offer the world. Well, what are your gifts and how can you make a difference in the world with your gifts? How would this make you shine brighter and how would it empower you? You could write about how you're worthy of shining and being true to yourself, and how would that empower you, and how would you let your light emanate into the world, and how would that for you look and feel? You could write I am statements in which you embody something and live it as if it's who you are. Which ones create your brightest light? Which statements bring the brightest light into the world? My examples for you are I am love, I am light, I am alignment, I'm strength, I'm freedom, I'm courage, I am connection, I'm energy, I'm possibility, I'm creativity. So I know you're not going to remember all that, but that is all should be there in the classroom for you to ponder. If you don't like any of those and none of them inspire you and you just want to write whatever you want to write, of course you can. Of course you can. I'm just going to take a moment now. It won't take me that long because I don't have that much space to just write a little bit about my light. And yeah. I'm not sure if you're interested in knowing what I wrote, but if you are, I just wrote, it is important to shine your inner light. Be true to who you are. Make no excuses. Stand tall. I could read my own writing here. I can't even read it. Stand tall no matter what others think. Love and trust you. Love and trust yourself for who you are. Love and trust yourself for who you are. You are light, and you have gifts to share. I'm sorry, that was terrible reading, but I don't really like, when I journal, it just kind of pours out. I'm not really concerned too much about if I can read it again or not, so that's why. Okay, just gonna make sure we are centered here more or less. Yeah, here we are. Take that out. So I'm thinking we need some metallics. Oh, yes, we do. Let's just make this pop. Also, we could add some more white, I think, but let's add some gold or silver first and see what goes on. I don't know if you've got any gold or silver markers or gel pens. These are just a variety ones. I've got some zebra ones here, some Signo Uniball ones here. This is a Pabeo one. Okay, and then I've got two gold inks here. One is Daler Round EFW and one is Liquitex, and you can see that there is a difference here. I think I prefer the Daler Round, but it doesn't really matter. Because sometimes you want to just blob some ink on there. Also, I have some gold paint, like acrylic paint from Gold, and this iridescent bronze, which is also fantastic. I really, really like it. So you don't have to add the gold if it's not, you know, who you are. This is a little bit going to be tricky though, guys, because I don't think we're going to be able to really use our Signo Uniball pens that much, because, you know, there's so many pastels going on here. But maybe if you have a little spot where there are no pastels and you think it's safe and you're not going to wreck your pen, you can get some little dots going on, or, you know, something going on there. And I think just like the gold with the blue looks good. I mean, well, I don't know. I think gold really kind of looks good anywhere, doesn't it? And it's up to you if you want to have like something going all the way around, or maybe you just want to have it in a few areas. Really, it doesn't matter. But I am thinking, you know, we gotta jazz this guy up a little bit here. Now, a pen like this one, or this one here, this is a Kuretake one. These are really, really nice. It's, you know, it's gonna behave differently, and because it's like sort of got that kind of a nib to it. So, you know, you can use that too. Like maybe you want to journal around the outside a little bit. Like I would rather use my gel pen for that because this is kind of fatter, but like, let's just try it here, okay? Okay, so that was a mistake. I went right into the pastel. Yeah, okay, so don't do what I do. I tried not to, but I couldn't help myself. My gold pen, again, I'm not sure this is gonna work just because of we got so much pastel. I have got so much pastel going on. And I do have silver, but you know, I think I'm going to just stick to the gold. And perhaps I will add a little bit of this here. Just a little bit. So this is what I can't really, you know, prescribe this to you. It just is, you have to kind of go with how you're feeling. And the paint is really great because you can just go over top of anything. Doesn't matter. I don't want to go too crazy with that, so I'm going to leave it there. Just a little bit. Just a little bit going on. And I really want to use this ink because I love it. And you can get some like bigger blobs going on then, right? Yeah, just right from the dropper. It's kind of simple that way. Just going over some of those ones I made, and I'm not liking how those turned out at all. There we go. Wow, okay. I know that when you're watching someone doing the filming, you get a kind of like almost a better view of what's going on, because when you're in the middle of creating, right, like you don't always maybe sometimes see the big picture, but when you're watching it, you do see how it emerges when the artist is creating it. And I just had a look at mine and I went, that's a little bit of a hot mess. But that's okay. I have really enjoyed making it, and I'm okay if it's a hot mess. That's just the way it's going to be, if that's okay with you. All right, maybe a little bit of white in here. And how do you know when to stop? Like, you know, I'm going on forever. You could go on forever. I think it's just step back, take a picture with your phone, use your intuition, and give yourself permission not to be too precious, because we are just working in our art journal, aren't we? Yeah. I feel that if I was doing this again, my border might want to be a little bit smaller. Like, I feel like maybe I could have maybe journaled in here, but it is what it is. And I think, again, like, we just have to love this process and think about what our message was to ourselves here with this light shining bright, you know? And I think that's the important parts here to this art journal page. Okay. I'm just gonna turn the camera back to me just so I can see you guys. Oh, just a second here. I can't see what I'm doing. Of course, I gotta put my, you know, my glasses on. There we go. I'm back. Oh, yeah. Okay, loving the PH Martin's iridescent. I know, me too. Love it. Love it. So I just want to get the camera so it is not falling over. But I just wanted to connect with you so you could see my face one more time. And thank you guys so much. I'm just reading a little bit on the chat. I love that you're conversing with each other. So great, such a great community. If you're here live with me then, and you're ready to go to the next one, you know, you've got a little bit of time now to go to the washroom, get a drink, get your materials sorted out, or whatever you want. Aw, thank you, Celtic Peasant. You're so sweet. Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate all your kindness. Much love. Thank you for creating with me today, or creating with me later. And I just hope you have a great, great weekend. And I will love to connect with you in Wanderlust 2024. Okay, you guys, thank you. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening. Bye. Okay, I'm trying to turn this off now, guys. Let's just see. You guys just keep talking amongst yourselves while I make sure I'm turning this off. Turning this off the right way, okay? Save highlight. Okay. I know my glasses are kind of goofy, eh? Just making sure. Bye. Okay. Bye, guys. I'm going to stop now. Okay. Bye.